The trail was supposed to be their escape. Instead, it became the beginning of one of the most disturbing criminal investigations the region had seen in years. By the end of it, innocent hikers would be linked to organized crime, trusted officers would lose their badges, and a single face glimpsed beneath a ski mask would unravel a network of corruption no one believed existed. But none of that mattered during the first terrifying minutes. All Detective Ethan Mercer wanted was to keep his wife alive. It was late autumn in the rugged mountains outside Queenstown, New Zealand. Detective Ethan Mercer had finally accepted his wife's insistence that he take a weekend away from work. For nearly 8 years, Ethan had worked violent crimes in Auckland, investigating murders, kidnappings, and organized robberies that left little room for family. His wife, Claire Mercer, a wildlife photographer, believed the mountains could heal what endless crime scenes had taken from him. For 2 days, they hiked winding trails surrounded by towering peaks, crystal lakes, and ancient forests. Neither of them realized someone had been watching hikers along the route for weeks. On Sunday afternoon, they entered a quieter section of the trail, where phone reception disappeared completely. The forest suddenly fell silent. No birds, no wind, just footsteps. 4 masked men emerged from different directions. They moved with frightening coordination. One carried a shotgun. Another held a hunting knife. A third immediately grabbed Claire before she could scream. The fourth calmly ordered Ethan onto his knees. Wallet, phones, backpacks. No heroics. Claire's hands shook violently. Ethan slowly complied. Years of police training told him exactly what not to do. Most victims who resisted died. He lowered his eyes, but not before noticing something impossible. One attacker adjusted his mask after it slipped. For less than 2 seconds, Ethan saw his face. Not the entire face, just enough. A scar beneath the left eye, an unusually pale blue iris, a broken nose that had healed crooked years earlier. More importantly, recognition flashed through Ethan's mind. He had seen that man before, not at a crime scene, not in a police lineup. Somewhere else, somewhere official. The robbers took cameras, cash, hiking gear, jewelry, even Claire's wedding ring. Then they disappeared into the forest as quickly as they had appeared. Claire collapsed into tears. Ethan never mentioned the face. Not yet. Local police treated the attack as another isolated robbery. Unfortunately, it wasn't. 3 similar attacks had occurred over 6 months. No witnesses, no suspects, no recoveries. The gang struck only where surveillance didn't exist. Victims survived. Evidence vanished. Something about the precision bothered Ethan. These weren't desperate criminals. They operated like trained professionals. Back in Auckland, Ethan quietly requested access to robbery files from across New Zealand. Patterns immediately appeared. Victims were often wealthy tourists. Luxury cameras, designer watches, high-end hiking equipment. Everything stolen disappeared without ever reaching local black markets. That meant one thing. The stolen goods were leaving the country. Claire noticed Ethan becoming obsessed again. Every night, he spread maps across their dining table. He marked attack locations, road access, cell tower coverage, vehicle sightings. One detail stood out. Every robbery occurred within 40 minutes of one privately operated helicopter company that specialized in remote tourism. Coincidence? Perhaps. But Ethan stopped believing in coincidences years ago. He secretly revisited the hiking trail. Near a dried creek bed, he found something investigators had overlooked. A tiny piece of torn camouflage fabric trapped beneath a sharp rock. Laboratory testing revealed traces of industrial lubricant, the same lubricant commonly used in helicopter maintenance facilities. Now, the robbery investigation had changed completely. Meanwhile, another couple disappeared while hiking. Unlike previous victims, they never came home. Search teams found abandoned backpacks, blood, broken trekking poles. No bodies. National attention exploded. The government formed a joint task force. Ethan volunteered. His supervisors agreed. None of them knew his personal connection. During evidence reviews, Ethan froze. Security footage from a petrol station showed a utility truck stopping before one robbery. The driver wore sunglasses. Most detectives ignored him. Ethan didn't. The driver's broken nose matched the face beneath the ski mask, but facial recognition produced no matches. That made no sense, unless someone had deliberately erased him. Ethan contacted retired Detective Malcolm Reeves, who had spent decades investigating organized theft rings. Reeves studied the image. Then his expression changed. "I know him." Ethan leaned forward. Reeves hesitated. "I arrested him 12 years ago, but the charges disappeared. Orders came from above." That sentence chilled Ethan. Above? Who had enough influence to erase a violent criminal? Days later, Reeves was found dead inside his cabin. Official cause: heart attack. Ethan wasn't convinced. Reeves had bruises around his wrist. His files were missing. His laptop had been wiped. Someone wanted history erased. Claire begged Ethan to stop. "You've already survived one attack. You don't know who you're chasing." Ethan answered quietly, "I think I do. And that's exactly why I can't stop." Working unofficially after hours, Ethan traced helicopter maintenance records connected to the lubricant evidence. One aircraft repeatedly flew unusual routes over isolated mountain ranges. Its official flight logs listed wildlife surveys. GPS data told another story. The helicopter landed near every robbery location within hours of each attack. Someone inside the aviation company was transporting criminals. Surveillance finally identified the pilot, Daniel Foster, former military. Perfect employment history. No criminal record. Yet financial investigators discovered millions flowing through shell companies tied to overseas accounts. Police raided one warehouse connected to Foster. Inside, they expected stolen hiking equipment. Instead, they found passports, forgery machines, military-grade communication equipment, large quantities of unregistered firearms, and something even more disturbing: files containing photographs of hundreds of tourists. Each photo included estimated wealth, travel routes, hiking schedules, and emergency contacts. The victims had been selected long before reaching the trails. The investigation exploded internationally, but Ethan still couldn't identify the man with the scar. Then betrayal struck. Confidential raid details leaked. Every remaining suspect disappeared overnight. Someone inside law enforcement had warned them. The task force immediately launched an internal investigation. Phone records revealed encrypted conversations between criminals and Detective Inspector Richard Collins, one of the country's most respected senior officers. Collins had supervised organized crime investigations for 15 years. He had quietly buried evidence, redirected investigations, transferred honest detectives, protected the robbery network from within. Even worse, he had personally authorized the closure of the case involving the scar-faced criminal 12 years earlier. Ethan confronted Collins privately. "You've been protecting them." Collins smiled. "You think this is about backpacks and cameras? You've only scratched the surface." Before Ethan could arrest him, Collins pulled a concealed pistol. The confrontation erupted into a desperate struggle inside an abandoned marina warehouse. Gunshots echoed through empty shipping containers. Collins escaped into the darkness. Authorities launched the largest manhunt in recent memory. Border alerts, international warrants, financial investigations, Interpol notices. The robbery gang was only one division of a much larger criminal organization specializing in targeted theft, identity fraud, arms trafficking, and international money laundering. Years of unsolved cases suddenly connected together. Then Ethan received an anonymous package. Inside, Claire's stolen wedding ring, along with a handwritten note. "You still don't remember me." No signature, only a photograph. It showed Ethan years earlier, during an undercover narcotics operation, standing beside an arrested gang member. The same scar, the same blue eye, the same broken nose. The robber hadn't recognized Ethan by chance. He had remembered him. Their encounter on the mountain had not been random. It had been revenge disguised as robbery. Using old case files, Ethan uncovered the man's identity. Lucas Novak, a violent criminal believed dead after disappearing during a prison transport years earlier. Records proved otherwise. Someone had secretly arranged his escape. That someone was Richard Collins. The final operation unfolded deep inside an abandoned mining complex hidden beneath dense forest. Police tactical units surrounded the area before dawn. Ethan joined the entry team. Inside, they discovered hidden tunnels packed with stolen property from hundreds of victims dating back almost 15 years. Luxury watches, jewelry, cameras, cash, passports, encrypted hard drives. Evidence from crimes authorities had never connected. Lucas Novak attempted to flee through an underground tunnel. Ethan chased him alone. The pursuit ended on an unstable metal bridge, suspended over an abandoned mine shaft. Lucas laughed. "This all started because you looked at my face." Ethan answered calmly, "No, it ends because you showed it." Lucas fired first. The bullet struck the railing. Ethan returned one carefully aimed shot. Lucas lost his footing. He crashed through rusted steel before detectives could reach him. Rescue crews later recovered his body. The manhunt was over. Richard Collins was arrested 2 days later while attempting to board a private yacht under a false identity. Court proceedings lasted nearly 11 months. Dozens of officers were dismissed. Several business executives received prison sentences for financing the network. The helicopter company closed permanently. Hundreds of victims finally recovered portions of their stolen property. Families of missing hikers finally learned what had happened to their loved ones. Justice came slowly, but it came. Months later, Ethan and Claire returned to the same mountain trail. This time they carried no fear, only quiet respect for those who never returned. Claire slipped her recovered wedding ring back onto her finger. "You could have let it go," she whispered. Ethan looked toward the forest, where everything had begun. If evil believes no one will follow it, it never stops. The wind carried the sound of distant birds once again. For the first time in months, the silence no longer felt dangerous. It felt like peace.